On. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my esteemed pleasure. The man has got nothing but information. He uh, from the head above the shoulders, nothing but information. He is John Mayer from from Tampa Bay, Florida, who is kind of like one of the number ones of the United Soccer Coaches of America. Did I get that right? Maybe.
Well, yes, it's John Mayer, and it is Tampa, Florida.
Okay.
The number one part, I think I could come down a couple of notches. There's a lot of folks that were much higher than me.
Yeah.
I'm going to say let's take it down to someplace in hundreds, I guess, maybe.
All right then. Yes, and as you well know, knowledge, and he's very humble. So, and he, you received the trophy of humility several decades ago, but you never picked it up. You were too humble to pick it up. So, John, it's always been. It's kind of it's a real deal. I've always been fascinated by what do you all do? What do they all do? And then I got involved in it a little bit, and I went, holy moly, this is like, oh man, the closest thing I could think of like is going to Trinity College in Dublin, Ireland, to get all the knowledge. I mean, anybody who's anybody in soccer, in I guess high school soccer, or the educational part of soccer, is involved in this, and everybody networks, and it's only time tested, information out there to pass along to anybody who wants it. Who can join?
Oh, we're trying to get as many different levels coaches that we possibly can. We've got something for everybody. So it's kind of hard to pin any one thing down. We've got education, we've got membership, we've got awards, we've got community coaches. You name it, we got it, and people can certainly belong. As big as our association is, there's something to bring it down so that the individual coach can feel like he or she can feel that they're a part of the association.
Absolutely. And how long you been around, man?
The association's been around since 1941.
Yeah.
It was started by some college coaches in New York City that got together, and soccer was kind of starting to get some grassroots growing, and they kind of got together and said, we need to help other folks learn about this sport because, when you're talking about college coaches back then, they were uh, soccer coaches and baseball coaches, or they were soccer coaches and lacrosse coaches. Some of them, did all three sports. So they really didn't know that much about the sport. But these five gentlemen back then said, you know what? They had a vision, and they saw that we need to help educate the American coach on how to coach this sport called soccer.
Wow. You ring my bell, man, when you talk about you have to they have a vision. It's noticeable that a person or a group has a vision, and they're going all in, saying, "Come on, help me. I'll help you to help me." That the vision isn't just one person. The vision is a movement.
We were founded on education. They really realized that they needed to share ideas and concepts and practices and drills so they could make their teams the best. And the best part was they were very unselfish. they gave away their secret drills. They gave away their secret plays, their secret formations, so that others could learn and become better and bring the competition level up higher and higher and higher. I wish those five gentlemen were still around today so that they could see their vision come true.
Mm, 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 mm. And so we just came back from the convention just recently, didn't we, John?
Oh, yes. Yep. I'm trying to remember what number it was. It could be our 85th or something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
I think
but
so.
we love going to Philadelphia. Philadelphia's always been good to us. And, when we're in Philly, within 3 or 4 hours, there's no telling how many high school coaches, college coaches, youth coaches we can have drive in for the day and experience all the stuff that goes on.
Wow. And so when a person gets a membership, what is it, $50 a year? Or...
Well, it's kind of gone up a little bit. There's a lot of things that go on, as you were saying, behind the scenes that people don't really see go on. The things that have got to be taken care of to make sure that the organization is a Class 1 organization and moving forward. So the high school coach, if they do a membership on their own, is about $150.
Okay.
If they're part of their state coaching association, we have connections and contracts with those state high school coaches associations that we can help them with the price, get a price break. So I would encourage a coach to check in with their state association as to, what they can do to get a price break.
And that comes with a magazine 4 times a year, or
Yep. The Soccer Journal is, for me, was my monthly coaching clinic when it would come out way back in the day. And I'd go through the magazine, the journal, the Soccer Journal, and I'd find all the different drills and I'd rip them out and I'd put them in folders. And so in my desk, I had a folder for midfielders and forwards and defenders and goalkeepers. I'd have folders for formations. I'd have folders for psychological things, for drills and all kinds of stuff. So that magazine was so beneficial to me when I was a young coach trying to learn the system and do those things. So yes, you get that magazine 4 times a year. There is a liability insurance that is offered through your membership that can cover multiple things. But when you start talking about insurance, I just say we've got that. If you want to find more about it, we can check in with the office. You can check in with our carrier. And you have access to our electronic library with drills and situations and formations that you just type in, I need a drill to finish for finishing, and up comes some drills, and you can kind of copy them and go on out and take them to your players and get them going right away.
Wow. That brings me to the point, there's people, players who score goals, and then those goal scorers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that art and science of the beautiful game that we love, it's all right there. I mean, you have 85 years of history right there.
Yeah. Those are the physical things you get with your membership. But then there's other things. Obviously, there's awards, which are near and dear to my heart, and I'll not talk too much about those. But you also have connections through our coaches' communities where, you can kind of get in there. And that's where the big organization becomes a small organization just for you and for the different things that you want to go forward with. You do become eligible for awards. Not only you, but your team and your players and your coaches all become eligible for different awards that we have that are usually pretty good for the kids and for the coaches.
And so, off the top of me head, all the networking that's been done, can you just give us a little glimpse of what the understanding and the vibe of the High School Champions League has created within the community?
You want to talk about a vision and it coming together. I mean, Jim Hart did a fabulous job with that. And as we talked about, we did a great job of growing soccer in the 80s and 90s all across the country. When I first started in awards, the majority of the awards were on the East Coast. And now we've got Montana and South Dakota having all region players and coaches of the year and stuff like that. So we've done a great job of growing it. Now we got to sell it. We need to make sure people know, look, this is who we are and this is what we've done. And the Champions League has just jumped that whole publicity up miles. Watching that grow across the country, from the little league here in Tampa now across the country, that's just added so much to high school soccer, which is very dear to my heart for sure.
Right. And that's the beauty of it is that, excuse me, the vision just is infinite. There is no boundaries, but you keep it small, step by step, in consistent manner. That it's not a fly by night, a grab of some sort. It's teams, players, coaches, schools, parents, referees, getting back to togetherness. Is that one big meatball? Everybody plays a part in it, and we have a national committee, so to speak, with the High School Champions League, and from a guy who's a retired showbiz, you have such a presence about you because you do a lot of the stuff for the for the Zoom calls and stuff, and we only see a little bit of picture of you, and it is unbelievable, just the amount of caring and sharing that you have, and that's you identify you are part of the United Soccer Coaches, that their mission, you are a missionary, man. I mean, when somebody sees you, they say this is caring and sharing, and that I didn't know nothing from nothing until I reached out, and because of my sincerity, people identified that and were able to care and share with me to make me just I feel very honored and grateful that I know soccer as much as I know soccer.
Yeah.
But that happens time and time again all over the United States. And are you international at all?
Yes. We have folks up in Canada. We have some coaches down in Mexico. We are in in Europe and Asia. We have a section of high school coaches over in Japan and over in that area that they all coach on the DoD schools, the Department of Defense high schools in the different bases. And we've got coaches over there that are members who get real excited when their players become Scholar All-Americas or All-Americas, because those kids are overseas, not necessarily because they want to. It's because that's where dad, mom got stationed.
Yeah.
And so we try to reach out to them and make sure we bring a little bit of America back to them and make them feel, look, hey, you're still part of us, and we know you're over there and we appreciate what you do, so we want to recognize you. We have the team awards for them and the Scholar and the all regions and the All Americas and the state and the coach of the years for them too.
So am I talking out of school if I would say the magazine Soccer America learned a whole lot of stuff from back in the day, what the United Soccer Coaches was called?
Yeah, we really tried to be out there for all coaches all the time through clinics and that type of thing. And our convention is just unbelievable to bring the presenters that we have into one place so that a coach from Fairfield, Connecticut, or a coach from Plano, Texas, or a coach from Mission Hills, California can be in a room with some of these coaches is just amazing. So yeah, we really try to spread it out the best we could. And Soccer America was there to help us in the beginning, and our Soccer Journal is certainly doing a great job.
You know, in those type of national tournaments that every once in a while pop up, was a witness to that. That there was a coach, a young coach, who said, "Is that him? Oh my God! I read his books that about being in the presence of a coach who started out just like they did, and then achieved awards and so forth. That they belong to the same caring and sharing community. That it's really something to behold. I don't know. Can you do the chess coaches of America have the similar, or the basketball or the football? Do they have kind of like the soccer guys and gals?
I believe so. I know there's a volleyball association. I know there's a baseball association, and of course the basketball association has their big stuff going on too. We're apparently the largest single sport association, and so we take great pride in that. But with that comes the responsibility to make sure that we reach out to all the coaches and make sure we have something for all levels, from the youth to the high school to the college, to the club teams and those type of things. So we really try to make sure that we reach out and able to give them something also.
So that the vision, the practicality of that vision is that it's inclusive, not exclusive.
Oh, yes. Oh gosh, yes. It's been great over the years. I guess I've been going to the convention since 1979. And so, to watch the population and the demographics change over those years has just been tremendous. We if you coach soccer, come on, you need to come in with us and hear what we've got to say, and we want to hear what you've got to say too.
There you go. And so in that convention, you have a really a major convention hall that it has to hold you, because you got so many people, that you have breakouts rooms for all throughout the day. You have the seminar, then you have the great award ceremony, and then this and that. I mean, it's an all day affair, isn't it?
It's an all week affair. We pretty much Wednesday and finish on Saturday. The demonstration halls, where we now have almost full size fields, where the presenters can show you how the whole progression works from the back all the way up to finishing. That's been an evolution like no other, in the sense that, again, when I used to go to the conventions way back when, we'd be in ballrooms with chandeliers hanging from the ceilings. They would be doing drills, and you'd be third row back in a chair looking around people to see things that happening, but also watching to make sure a ball didn't come and hit you in the head. And so you were up close and personal, as they might say, in the old days. But then it really you would think, well, that's really quite the experience. But I remember, I think we were in St. Louis one year, and was maybe one of the first years that we went to bleacher seating. And that was great, because you got to go up high and look down and see how everything moved. So, we're really just kind of keep it moving. But like you said, we also have the breakout sessions where you can go into a room of 100 people and discuss this topic or that topic. So you feel like you're a part of it, and you're not just sitting there, being a person taking up space, you still can get very, very much involved. And it's really a lot of fun to see that. As far as awards and ceremonies are concerned, we have different ones along the way. But Friday night is our big one where we recognize our Hall of Famers, our new inductees to Hall of Fame. We recognize our honor award winners and the national staffs of the year, national coaches of the year, and some of our other awards like long-term service and those type of things. And that's usually attended by about maybe 500 folks. But come Saturday is when we recognize all levels of All-America, from youth to high school to college, as well as the Scholar All-Americas in high school and college. And we'll present about 400, 450 All-Americas across the stage in that afternoon, with maybe about 1,500 people out in the audience. So yeah, that's a pretty big deal, and we're so proud to be able to acknowledge and show those folks off in that afternoon.
Wow. With John, Trista Tower, but you have been the creator. You've been the standardization of what it takes to be called an All-American, what it takes to be called Coach of the Year. And can you give us a little bit of what it really is about? Because when you say it's a big deal, I believe you, but can you convince me?
That's a great question, because we're just excited that we get to recognize the top players from in high school, different states, the top players in college from across the country on the all region and the all America level. These players have really shown across the board what they're all about and how they play the great game. So we're really excited because, watching the kids come up through high school and college, and we see the same kids come back year and year, we know we're doing something right. And then to watch them get drafted to the MLS or the NSSL, that's so much fun. I mean, I'll watch a match on television and I'll recognize the name and I'll go back, okay, what year was she an All-America, or a National Player of the Year? So we're real excited to be able to show that we see that talent early, only for it to just keep getting better and better and moving on up the ranks.
And so the nomination process isn't overly political, and there's no like money. They can't buy the trophy or an award, but that it seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, John, that our beautiful game, it reveals character of that soccer player. That it does, not necessarily builds it for them, but it reveals what they have already done, not what they're going to do.
Right. Yeah, and what we really appreciate is that these players are recognized by the coaches. We don't have professionals. We don't have, like, on the high school level, it's done by high school coaches. On the college level, it's done by college coaches. And so they're really showing that they're the cream of the cream in their state. And then, they're moved on to the All-America, and then a lot of them have an opportunity to continue to the next level, college or wherever. So that kind of verifies that we were paying attention and that we found the best of the best.
Nice. The best of the best. There you go. And really, that's with the name that you all have, through 85 years. I don't know what the previous names were. I just knew the initials of the NSCAA before the United Soccer Coaches. But that name right now, that's kind of like, wow. That's got the vision and the whole 9 yards right up to it. Were you involved in that process?
No, I'm I'm kind of an old guy in the sense that the National Soccer Coaches Association of America had a great ring for me.
Uh-huh.
But moving on to United Soccer Coaches, everything's got to move on, and um, you know, things got to progress. Our awards program has gone from fax machines to emails uh, to AI. It's amazing how things have just moved forward. Um, so, you just got to keep up with the times, and sometimes changes have got to be made. You might not like it, but, we got to wait and see how it pans out. United certainly is a word that what we're trying to do. We're certainly trying to unite soccer coaches across the board, like I said, all levels to help share and help another coach become a better coach.
Well, I do have to say that far as the graphic, that NSCAA was a better graphic than what we have now. Just to make the record straight.
No comment.
All right. So here we go. Now, would the spring, would that be right in the wheelhouse of the organization, or is it towards the tail end, the start? What about the process? Where is it staying right now?
Yeah, well, if there was a quiet time, this would be a little bit of the quiet time. But just last week, the folks were in Kansas City already doing what they call a site visit for our convention next year in Kansas City. So we just kind of just keep rolling on to the next thing. As far as college is concerned, yeah, that's a little bit quiet right now. High school, though, is still busy because we've got the states that play in the winter, and then we have the states that play in the spring. So we're doing their all region teams, their all America teams, their state coach of the year teams, all that type of stuff. We just kicked off the application opening for high school scholar all Americas. So that process is going on right now for the high schools. We'll be opening up the process in May for the team academic awards. So that's going on. The team ethics and sportsmanship awards are open for the winter season, high school winter season, and will open very shortly for the spring high school season. So there's a quiet time, but it still keeps us busy and moving in the right direction.
Now, 14 years ago, I heard a guy, college coach of the year, everything, saying that we're on our way out. The forces are getting together, and they're going to ship us out. No more college soccer, no more high school soccer. You're the guy. Can you give me an award? Can you say something that, hey, you'll be around? What do you think about all that?
Yeah, there were all kinds of naysayers way back when. But that's all in the past. We've been accepted as a legitimate sport, if you want to call it that. But when you think about all the things that are going on with soccer and high schools and across the country, we're not going anyplace. Take a look at advertisements. If you ever watch the car commercials, they're dropping their kids off at a soccer match. Think about how much soccer is on television these days. Back in the day, we were lucky if Wide World of Sports would put on a soccer match every once in a while. And now, my goodness gracious, it's almost 24/7. You can find a soccer match from someplace. So it's just the sport has grown, and we're not going anyplace. We're going to be there for a while.
So the naysayers have their head in the sand. They're not looking around. They don't have a vision. So that's a good point. I got to remember that. So
and think also, look at how fast high school's champion league has jumped up, and how that was a great idea, like I said, by Jim Hart. And every once in a while, I've got to stop him and say, you need to stop and look what your vision has become. I mean, what we're in about 7 cities right now, and the more that hear about it, the more want to jump in there. So this could be, we're there. We're not going anyplace. We're just finding ways to make people notice us. And the Champions League is one of them, which has been great.
Now, if you got 10 more minutes for me?
Sure.
Okay, John. Say, for instance, you're coming right out of college with the new certificate of diploma of excellence. Do you start to say, okay, I'm going to start with Tom Byer. We're going to get it soccer made at home, and then we're going to go with this United Soccer Coaches, and we're going to build the American way, so to speak? Or you have anything to say about that, or what would you do if you were a young a college graduate?
If I was a college graduate today and I wanted to coach, I'd really want to make sure that I found somebody in my community that I could go be an assistant coach to, and watch and learn, because those folks have been there for a while. They've done it, they've handled it, they've seen it, and they want to share with you how they do it. So I would just kind of make sure that I got with somebody and listened and watched and, eventually took over this drill and eventually took over. But get in there early, because thinking that you know it all, going out to a group of 15-year-old kids, you're going to learn there's some bumps in the road pretty quick. So, you just really need to get yourself into it so that you love it. I'm afraid it's kind of like teaching. Too many people jump into that classroom, and within 3 or 4 years, they're gone. That type of stuff. So you really got to take your time and immerse yourself into it. It's hard to step into it right away. I was very fortunate. I had a great mentor when I started my high school coaching career. And I think a lot of us did. And now we're ready to give back to help people come along. So use those people a lot. You've got lots of stuff to share, but you got to kind of learn how to share, because coach and teacher are the same thing. And you've got to really learn how to be a teacher also.
Yes. So it goes to where the soccer starts at home. Well, the home, there's not any great new invention. It's an apprentice who's got, the master. He or she is teaching the everyday, moment to moment. The professor and the associate professor, adjunct. I mean, all these things. It just, you're in over your head, but you're able. The person that's helping you it won't let you drown.
Right. Exactly. That mentor is really important, and it kind of helps you get your feet wet and develop your own confidence in front of the kids and move forward from there.
Now, is this the time that I get an award that I? Well, anyway, you're getting the Whale Certified Hall of Fame, John Mayer. John Mayer. Yeah, that's who you are.
The one area we haven't attacked yet is podcasters. So who knows what we might come up for soccer podcasters, because there's a lot of you guys out there, and we appreciate that. Talking about our game.
Yeah, man. Amazing. I mean, there it is. It's, just talking soccer, man. I mean, just the ins and outs of it, that there's a lot to learn. And, it's sometimes, like say for myself, I got a lazy eye. I look up in the sky, or, I feel I'm unable to do the audio visual, but it's very relaxing just to talk.
Gosh. I've appreciated this. This has been a lot of fun.
Oh, good. Good, John. All right, then. Well, I better be. It's nice to close it up now. Well, but it's always been a custom here at Wales Certified, John, is to say whatever you want to say to who you ever want to say it to for as long as you want to say it for. This is your opportunity.
Well, I guess what I'd like to kind of tie it all up with is that those folks that had that vision way back in 1941 to have a coaches association for soccer, I really want to make sure we say thank you to those five guys and all that they went through and how they got us to where we are today. They were, in a roundabout way, they were very important to my coaching career, as well as to this opportunity that I have through the association to give back to the sport through the awards program and those type of things. And so, yeah, those guys, I wish they know, I hope they know how great of this vision has really become. But we also need people to continue to have a vision for our game, where it's going, how it's going, why it's going. In the college level, I know they're really talking about having a full year college season. You know, gosh, how big of a difference that will make in college soccer. That would be tremendous. On the high school level, you know, guys like Jim Hart, we've already talked about this vision of this Champions League and how this has really brought it up and moving. In the youth side, we've got the Girls Academy, we've got the ECNLs, you know, we've got all those things going on. So the sport is alive and well. And, you know, now we just got to keep going out there and making sure people know who we are and what we do. And if a coach ever gets lost out there, that's why we have the United Soccer Coaches. You know, they can come in there and, you know, we can help direct them, put on clinics, help them with awards, that type of stuff to get recognition for their teams, which always goes a long way with your school boards. So that's what we're here for, and we want to continue to be here to do that for the soccer community.
Wow. Well, there I go. And I know my history a little bit. They started this in the middle of a war.
Yeah, that was the weird part of it. They were able to do it, and it took 3 or 4 years for it really to get off the ground. But these guys were persistent, and so we really appreciate that.
Well, there I go. I got the goosebumps. I'm going to put on a sweater now, but. But I want to thank you again, John. And how does somebody get a hold of you and or the organization? Do they just type in United Soccer Coaches of what? How?
Yep. We're at United Soccer Coaches, all one word, .org. That's where they'll find us on the website. They'll find our leadership on there. They'll find the board members on there. They'll find the staff members on there. So if they have a specific question, they can go to one of those folks, or they can certainly just email me at jmayer@unitedsoccercoaches.org, and I'll make sure they get to the right direction.
All right, then. And I'll upload this and download this and send it to this telephone number, and you'll have it with you so that you could, hey, do we want to listen to this? Listen to this. All right. Take care, John.
Okay, this was great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.